Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen missile video stuff. Last time we looked at size 1 missiles and talked about all of the different missile racks, size 1 to 3. Today we're going to be looking at the size 2 missiles, their uses, strengths and weaknesses. We'll be discussing the Ignite II, the Rattler II cluster missiles, the Strikeforce II, the Tempest II and the Dominator II. All of these size 2 missiles are available from the rec store for between 1400 and 1800 rec for a pack of 10. These do not actually expire on use then, so 10 is more than enough that you need. It's 10 for mounting purposes. The Ignite II is a fire and forget easy lock IR missile. It's quite easily able to get a lock in a dogfight on its target and then fire off a missile quickly, but these missiles are pretty easy to evade. These missiles make great control and herding weapons, allowing you to fire off one and then easily predict where the enemy is going to move, or to get the enemy off you for a few seconds. They do relatively low damage though compared to the other size 2 missiles, but have pretty good acceleration. Firing them at a target that is passing you or playing chicken can store you some devastatingly good hits. These sort of missiles though should never really be fired over 1500 meters range. They are extremely easy to evade. The Rattler II cluster missiles. The Rattlers are full of other missiles. These things do a load of damage if used well. They require a full IR lock, which is reasonably easy to get. Most ships produce a lot of IR, especially when they fire. They have a below average max range, around 3000 meters, and an average acceleration, but once the missile impacts or gets close to the target, a swarm of mini rockets is released that also track the target's IR signal. Both the original missile and each of these rockets does a good deal of damage, and a target reacting slowly that is or is disabled or is not launching countermeasures is going to regret it. Against slow dogfighters, these missiles really come into their own. They're also really useful in Vandal Swarm in the elite waves. They get a target off you for a good few seconds because they're having to avoid many missiles. If you want the most damage potential for a size 2 missile and like a firing window of 1000 to 2000 meters, because this is where they work best in that little window of 1000 to 2000, then this is the choice for you. Also, they make you feel like a badass. Lots of missiles. Pew! The Tempest II. This missile does a large amount of damage in a large explosion radius and detonates when it's near a ship, but requires a full CS lock, which is pretty hard to get from most ships that are dogfighting with you especially, and this missile is a short range missile. High acceleration, but low top speed. Pretty much this is the only ship that you're going to reasonably get a CS lock when you're fighting in a short range dogfight, unless you're above or below your target, in which case you're going to have a larger CS cross section, so you're more likely to get that lock quicker. But if you're going to see a target at short range with a good CS, then you might as well just shoot it instead. I mean, locking on a missile is going to take you a couple of seconds. If you're looking for a large amount of damage, there's just much better choices like the Rattler IIs. The Strikeforce II. This missile has a great range and top speed, but poor acceleration. Again, this missile requires a cross-section lock, but it's intended for medium to long range, so it's normally easier to get that CS lock. You're going to be able to have a time to think about where you're engaging the target from. But once fired at medium to long range, this is the missile that is most likely to hit its target out of the size 2 in my opinions. It does suffer from being shot at short range due to its acceleration time, but it does do quite a lot of damage in quite a big radius too. If you want a missile for long range and want them to hit, then this is the best size 2 choice. The Dominator II. These missiles require a full EM lock. Some ships will produce a huge EM signature, while others will barely register. I find it quite hard to get a lock with these missiles, and they lack acceleration and speed. They are harder to shake for most pilots though once they are locked on, and they do a huge amount of damage if they hit. They are not a missile I would recommend though, especially not against Vandal, who don't really produce EM signatures as much as other ships can. Hard to fire and easy to flee from. Good dogfighters won't even blink if these are fired at them, though you do occasionally make a Hornet regret that decision if it hits. So let me break it down for you. If you want a long range missile and you want that missile to hit the target, then go for the Strikeforce IIs. If you only care about damage or taking on larger ships, then go for the Rattler IIs. They do also have some quite good uses in Vandal Swarm against the elite waves, I find as well. If you want a dogfighting missile that controls enemy movements, then go for the Ignite IIs. Anyway guys, I hope that was informative. That's my thoughts on missiles. I have included the link to the XML stats in the description below. There's a lot of other maths going on with the missiles, so I'll keep it updated. Take a look at that, because if you're like, well, I want a missile that turns quicker, or if I want a missile that, I don't know, locks on in this particular way for this many seconds or whatever, it's all up there in the XML file for people to read. So check that out if you're interested in meta and maths and stuff of the actual missiles themselves. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the verse.